Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be showing you a review of last week. First off, what concepts do I use? I use ICT, Smart Money Concepts. I use volume profiles and supply and demand zones. So what is this over here? This is nothing but the midpoint of this wick here. What is this? This is one of these nodes, these volume nodes of this volume indicator. So I draw these rectangles here that are the nodes of this indicator on the 1 hour. Later on you will see red rectangles like this. They're larger and those are from the daily time frame. And then you will see these are just value area highs, points of control, and value area lows of the New York session. Again, just another volume profile that I use, another indicator that I use. And then we have fair value gaps here in blue. You can see already with confluence here, right? So yes, I do have a lot of stuff on my chart, but it's very simple. I use everything as support and resistance. That's it. Might look a little bit confusing, but it's not. It's just the very basic stuff. Just the very basic stuff of ICT and very basic stuff of volume, and also only supply and demand zones, as you can see here in one, and this pink. So let's get started. So we start out here on sunny night. As you can see, it hit right this middle of this volume node here, and with confluence with this wick, midpoint of this wick over here. So went back down here to where? A high volume area right over here. Bounced up here to this node over here. Down here to the bottom of this fair value gap. Up and down here. And then again, went all the way back up here again. All the way back down here, which ended up being point of control. And then back up here above this node here. But then you can see the next candle wicked above it, and then way down, way down. And this is one of these red rectangles I told you about in the beginning. So this is a high volume area on the daily time frame. It went through this, but it stopped right over here. And you can see we had confluence with this huge 1 hour fair value gap over here, which is from Wednesday. then went all the way back up again, back again to this fair value gap and this node here. Back down this time, this area here provided support, right to the bottom, and went to this node here, back down, bounce in between here, then back up to here to where? This point of control. Let's pull this fair value up over here. Then went back down again, went through, pierced through here, but this area here stopped it, right? All the way back up again to this node here again. Went through here, but then again this fair value gap here and this node, we had confluence right over here. Easy stuff, right? The middle of this fair value gap and the bottom of this node. Perfect, beautiful resistance, right? So it's easy stuff, right? But you have to have it on your chart. If you don't draw it on your chart, unless you have a photographic memory, you will never see this. See, it has to be on the chart. Alright, so I'm back down here, and they ended right here, right? Just below this node, but right on top of this gap. Well, this is the gap that was formed. Well, by this candle, so. And then the open here, later on, at 6 p.m., was not far off of the middle of this area here, right? Went down, 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 and again, just went a little bit low, the top of this area here. And we had some resistance here on with this node, and all the way back down here, and we already see there's some confluence here with this node and this fair value gap right over here. Look at that. That's nice. And this fair value gap is this one, I think, is from Friday. Yeah. So all the way from here. Again, you need to have these significant fair value gaps on your chart. All right. So bounced off over here. Went all the way back up here to this gap, right? And there was confluence with this supply and demand zone right here and here. Most traders say, well, this was mitigated here, so it's now invalidated, but not really, because look at the confluence here, right? We had this zone here, this node, and well, this is the middle of the gap here, right? That was formed. Might close, and then by the open here. So a lot of confluence here. Again, you will probably not see this unless you draw it on your chart. And all the way back down again. Again, back down here. went back over here to this node. Again, the top of this fair value gap. Well, to be fair, almost, but you can see there's confluence, right? A lot of stuff happening here. This node, fair value gap, and then we had a value area high, I believe. Yep. Then came all the way down here to where? Another fair value gap. And this one formed right over here on Tuesday, April 8th. And why should you have kept this on your chart? Because here provided beautiful support here. So this one would have been a keeper, right? You keep this one here on your chart. And this one was already even, not already, but even the weekly low, right? So again, another good reason to keep this fair value gap on your chart. All right, so this was a low, bounce here. Where did it go? Up to here. Look at this node here. This is a volume profile of the past 2 weeks. Went through here. Back down here to this node, almost down to this node, right? Up again here. To the top of this node. Down again and went through again to this daily node here, up to the very top of it, right? And then almost to the very bottom of it. Then bounced again here. Okay, went through here and back to this fair value gap here. We had confluence here again. See how these are very close? Not a coincidence, right? And price dump from here. Went back down to this bigger node here. Then back up again to where? Almost to the middle of this fair value gap and the middle of this daily node. Went all the way back down, down. Again, back to this node again, almost to the very bottom here. Then pumped up again to this node here, and again, the top of this fair value gap. Came down to this node here, pumped to the bottom of this node here. Came down, okay, went through here. It's not gonna work every time, right? It's not how support and resistance works, right? It will not always hold the price, right? At support or at resistance. Came down here. Bounce back up to here, and this was Thursday's low, right? The day before. And we're already on, this was the opening here on Sunday. got rejected here, down, up. Again, this fair value gap again provided support here, made it all the way back to where? This fair value gap over here, the bottom of this, right? Over here, and to the middle of this fair value gap here, which was this giant one from Friday, I believe, right? Right. No, Wednesday again. All right. All right, where were we? Now I got lost here. Okay, right here. Right, this fair value gap here, which I will continue to keep on my chart, because obviously this is a significant fair value gap, obviously. Okay, went down through this node here today and stopped on this node. And that's actually already it. So if this looks confusing to you, just go over it again. Study this chart. Look for confluence, right? That's all it is. We have 3 different trading concepts, strategies, whatever you want to call it, that are by themselves really powerful. If you add all 3 to one, and you're looking for confluence of like only 2 of the things of the 3, that will give you a high win rate. Very good levels. Look over this again, and we can go back here, right? Over here, this one, yeah. Look, this is a significant level. Look at that. Look at this huge bounce. 818 to 171, or even a little bit higher, 175. Same here. Provided a nice bounce here and went back down here into this one, right? Here again, and here, look at that, and here again. So these areas, these nodes with very high volume, they work. And look at here. All right, one down here. Oh. All right, so I'm letting me click on it. Anyway, yeah, I did work through here, but we had some major resistance here, right? And look at this. So this stuff works, and then just mix it with smart money concepts and supply and demand zones. This stuff works. Next up, I'll be looking at this level over here, right? We have confluence here. of this. I believe it's a 4-hour, yeah, 4-hour supply and demand zone. And this node here should provide at least some type of support. So look out for this one this week. We can see there was some significance here already to this node here. Provided support in here, resistance here. So again, and it's not far off of this fair value gap either. And then again, this zone here too. All right, you know it works. Like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about how I trade, I do have a free Discord. The link is in the description below. So this is all for this review. Hope you liked it, and I will see you next time.